This podcast is part of the Podcast Arcade Network.
Welcome to episode 61 of Paranormal Dads. I'm your co-host, Pat.
I'm Eddie.
And I'm Andy.
Join us as we go in search of the world's monsters, myths, and mysteries, right here on Paranormal Dads. Hello again, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Paranormal Dads.
Hi, Pat.
I'm your co-host, Paranormal Pat.
I'm adventurous Andy.
I'm eerie Eddie. Because I have big ears.
And now we've introduced ourselves twice.
It's okay. It's all right.
As you can tell, we have nothing planned when we do this opening bit. We're just bantering.
Yeah,
It's
it's
just
just
Opening
like-
bit. You're getting us as we are.
It's like, okay, let's do it. This is
if
what
you're-
we do.
all access pass to see the monkey with the cymbals and our brains just banging away.
If you're listening to this, that we are either alive and well, or we did not survive our Dogman excursion expedition, because chances are this is going to get released after we get back from that one.
So if we never did come back, enjoy all 61 of these episodes. It'll be our legacy, our gift
Yeah.
to you.
This is our farewell episode.
62 might be recorded from beyond the other side.
if this is the farewell episode, Daphne, Elise, Gwen, I love you very much, and scatter my ashes across a comic book store.
Not in the woods because Dogman will pee on them.
No, it's my nightmare, Andy. Dogman peeing on my ashes. That's my first fear.
I have that conversation with myself every now and then. It's like, where do I want my ashes
Strewn about.
I told my wife, my wife and I were actually talking about this fairly recently. And I told her, I want you to drop my ashes off the overpass at 50th and Center Street.
Oh, 50th and
All right, no, it's 48th, actually. 48th and
48.
Center.
That's where you grew up as a kid.
Yeah, those are my old stomping grounds.
There you go.
That nearby car wash is going to be a busy place that day.
I used to walk over that bridge and go to school every day.
Oh, man. That's where you want them to.
Just drop my ashes right there, right off the bridge, right on the Center
It's
Street.
going to be on a windy day, 40-mile-an-hour
Yeah.
gusts of wind.
Oh, it's got to be a blustery day, like
Mom, is that a tornado coming off in the distance?
like a poo blustery day,
I got.
a nice fall day. So now I've established I need to die in the fall.
I got plice powder in my mouth.
Not this fall, Pat.
No,
don't
not
let
this
it-
fall.
No, not before we can upload your consciousness into a machine and you can live live on with robot parts.
You got to freeze my parts, and so I can be thawed out in 2025.
I want a. That's not too long from now.
Oh yeah, I meant 25.
There you go. In the year, 3 years from now, 4 years from now, Pat. No, the technology
Oh
won't be there
man,
yet.
this show's going downhill.
We gotta
fast,
put
man. We're
wow.
going to a bad spot.
We got to
here.
put Pat into a speaking spell. That's where we're at right now.
Hi, Eddie.
Oh, okay.
I missed you, Pat.
So many emotions.
I want a RoboPlice. That's what I want right now. No, when you do exit this dimension, Pat, whichever one of us leaves first, bronze statue. I'm making a bronze statue of Pat to be admired and thought of for generations to come.
There you go.
Okay, and post it on the overpass at 48th and Center
Yep,
Street.
and have a little MP3. People can push a button and hear your sultry, buttery voice all the time.
Anyway,
I want a pack of Eddie Foster playing cards.
Ooh.
Each one's just a different one of Eddie's, characters. One of his one part of his multiple
The
personalities.
Eddieverse. Yeah, you got the hillbilly, you got the alien abductee, you got the prospector, you got
we could call it
podcaster.
Masters of the Eddieverse.
Oh my gosh, ideas are flowing. Well, hey, with all that craziness, we should probably lead right into
Recent sightings.
oh, who's on that one?
Who is on that one?
It's me. I'm just messing with you. All right, here we go.
There we go.
Well, we're on a roll here because our recent sightings are actually pretty recent. Say hot and fresh as far as Paranormal Dads are concerned. This one is about a week ago, give or take about a week. And Andy said this: Brazil's an interesting country. Just a overall fascinating country, but also in the realm of UFO sightings. Brazil, for some reason, something's going on, and there's a video out there with another fellow paranormal enthusiast by the name of Secure Team. You can look him up on YouTube. He posts, I think, weekly videos on different UFO phenomenon, mostly UFO. He isn't so much into the other things. This one is a UFO sighting of what is being called an interdimensional energy UFO.
It was in Sao Paulo.
Sao Paulo, Brazil.
Look at Andy go with his UFO knowledge.
Andy knows. And soccer. He's a soccer guy, too.
Oh, yeah. I mean, pretty much anything I know about anything in this world is a soccer reference, and Brazil's the motherland of soccer. So,
yeah. And so about a week ago in Sao Paulo, Brazil, there was what's being called kind of an energy UFO that was seen in the sky. It looks kind of organic in the way it's moving around, and it's very large. I showed the guys the video. We can post this video up on our page so you can actually see this. But it's huge. It basically looked like almost a triangular shape, but it had arms. It had like a center mass to it with three distinct appendages coming out, and it was kind of folding and moving unto itself, almost like flapping of wings in the sky.
Had the go gadget arms.
Almost
like it's crawling through the sky.
Yeah, almost.
It's a weird one. It's not your typical garden variety UFO.
Yeah, it was kind of weaving in and out of clouds. It looked very interesting. Pat pointed out it almost looked like a lightning in a way, like a weather event in a weird way, but everything I've seen with lightning doesn't move that slowly, certainly.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely not fast.
No.
It was just kind of meandering through the clouds, but in the background, I think you could see some lightning going on, or it was all kind of back in the clouds, so you'd see the clouds kind of flash up. You weren't actually seeing the lightning bolts or anything. But this thing was not a lightning bolt.
No.
It was, like I said, it was just kind of meandering through the clouds.
It was almost a pinkish color, too. It had, like I said, three arms, air quotes, arms, and very large object. I mean, just getting a sense of scale. I mean, it took up a lot of sky. And kind of like I said, it's almost dragon looking in a way too. And this comes back to that thing that me and Gwen saw. It had a similar movement to that. Like there was those two, especially those two appendages kind of just almost swimming in the sky, it looked like. Mm-hmm. Almost like a jellyfish.
Like Falcor the Luck Dragon from the Never-Ending Story movie.
Yes. It flew without wings, like an airplane without wings. And not only that, plasma, but there was a lot of other UFOs sighted in Brazil, but this one particularly jumped out to me, just how strange it looked. And that's getting into this notion again about UFOs maybe in some cases maybe even being organic beings unto themselves, or organic interdimensional beings, which now we're getting into some Star Trek territory here almost, where it's like Encounter at Farpoint style.
All right.
Trying to think, wasn't the movie Abyss, where they discover those underwater aliens, Sigourney Weaver? I think that was actually a James Cameron film of Avatar fame, I think.
Yep. The Abyss was a James Cameron movie.
Yeah. But weren't the alien beings that they find underwater, they were kind of almost like, I want to say like manta ray like, they were swimming. They were undulating.
Well, the idea, and this will be a whole separate episode at some point, but USOs, under submerged object. But the whole premise of the Abyss was that these extraterrestrials were organically moving around, and that their ship even looked kind of like an organic style ship. It wasn't some machined looking thing. Very interesting. But like I said, we'll put that video up on our social medias or on our actual webpage. We could probably link that up pretty easily, I imagine. And Yeah, it's something else. It's crazy. What gets me too about it is just the sheer size of this thing. It's just not a small little pinprick of light in the sky. This is gargantuan. It's huge.
It's bigger than a plane.
Bigger than a plane.
I don't know if it's aircraft carrier size, but I mean it's large.
Yeah,
very large.
And it brings to mind another UFO that was seen over the Aegean Sea, where this woman was just in a passenger plane. She's sitting there on got her Southwest ticket, and it's flying, and she's looking out the window, and this what looks almost like, and this sounds insane, but it almost looks like a humpback whale is coming up and out of the clouds. This gigantic black mass, and it rotates and then starts to kind of right itself. It looks like a mountain that is flying in the sky.
Yeah.
And she's sitting there watching it happen, and she's like, "What is that?" And like you can hear it in her voice. Her entire understanding of reality is being wrapped around itself. But it looks like a whale breaching out of the water, but it's bigger than a whale, and it's in the sky. It doesn't make any sense.
One of them cloud whales.
Ah!
Yeah, it almost looked like a submarine or something popping up out of the clouds.
It's the strangest thing.
It was a lot bigger than the sub would have been.
It'd have been the size of like a mountain.
Yeah.
No, I mean, you look at how big it is. But these weird, I mean, we get into the thing of like high strangeness, and that's getting into that. When you see something that you don't have any form of context for. And energy UFO flying in the sky. Andy, thoughts?
It's nuts, man. I mean, but it just proves, some of the UFOs that are spotted around the world, some of these craft, they're not aerodynamic, first of all.
No.
Which leads a lot of people to theorize maybe they're not flying here, which I completely 100% believe that a lot of the UFOs being seen, they're not flying here from another galaxy. Even if you're going the speed of light, that's going to take thousands and millions of years. They're somehow warping space altogether. So you could have a UFO that looks like a flying brick, not aerodynamic at all. It doesn't matter because they're not bending air around them. They're moving through space and time.
Yeah.
So whether you look like a Falcor the Luck Dragon or a triangle with wacky inflatable arm, flailing tube guy arms, or what have you, it doesn't matter.
That's almost kind of what it looked like, actually. It kind of looked like one of those
wacky,
tube
wavy,
guys
inflatable tube guy.
That stand outside of car washes, and except it was big and white, and it was flying in the sky.
Yeah.
They scaled it up 100 times and lit it on fire.
If it was a luck dragon, my gosh, me and Andy and Pat on the back of that thing, throwing our hands up in the sky. Yeah! Never-ending story music plays in the background. Basically heaven. Basically heaven for Eddie. All the bullies get thrown in the garbage.
Great movie, by the way.
Great movie. Man, love that movie.
Pretty creepy.
What's the song they sing on Stranger Things?
Never-ending story.
Oh, yeah, that's what it is.
Speaking of metaphysical, Eddie has a voice of an angel over here.
I wouldn't go that far. Oh, hey, stay tuned for my album. Me and Pat's album. Pat singing the lounge songs and me singing the fanciful luck dragons.
I'll be on drums like Animal from the Muppets.
And he's playing his belly. So like I said, stay tuned and also look these things up. If you look up like energy UFOs, it's crazy. And I know lightning can do some interesting things, and it's a very interesting phenomenon, but I've been alive now 44 years, and I've never seen lightning do anything, like Pat was saying, anything like this at all.
I mean, you got ball lightning, but ball lightning's more unpredictable. It's not uniform. It's not, and it's not that long. It's not,
Ball lightning, what, soccer ball size?
Soccer
maybe?
ball,
Yeah.
maybe sometimes tennis ball. That thing was massive,
No, so big. So, yeah, that's what I got for recent signings. Weird energy UFOs flying over Brazil. Hey, listen, you're going to get some cool stuff on this show. Never thought you'd hear that today, did you?
Well, coming up next, we have pop culture and the paranormal. So strap on your Halloween costumes for this one. Got a good one coming up.
All right.
It's time for pop, culture, and the paranormal.
All right, pop culture. I found an article on theactivetimes.com, the most popular Halloween costumes since 1983.
Ooh.
Oh.
So whether you like to spend your money on October visiting charming fall towns or making your way through haunted houses or going apple picking, no Halloween season is complete without a great costume. So what they did is they contacted Spirit Halloween to see which pop culture trends inspired the biggest costume for every year from 1983 up to 2019.
Holy cow.
So this is going back. So this is like right in your wheelhouse, and maybe you too, Eddie, because Eddie, you were born in '77.
Yep.
So this goes all the way back to when you were 6. Pat was a mite older.
Yep.
And but thinking back, Halloween costumes are the who's who of pop culture of the time. It could be a rocker, singer, athlete, a movie star, movie character. So thinking of 1983, what was big in '83, guys?
83.
Lionel
Lionel Richie.
Rocky?
No, I'm butchering the song. Think Star Wars. Think.
Oh, well, you got Luke
Was it
Skywalker,
Darth
for sure.
Vader,
Darth
maybe?
Vader.
You got a Princess Leia.
Princess
Most
Leia.
popular in
no
1983.
way.
Buns on the side of the head.
Really?
Something.
That would have been well. That's interesting because that's the original Princess Leia, from Episode 4, A New Hope, which came out in '77.
Yep.
But '83 was when Return of the Jedi came out.
Okay. Yeah,
So-
it says yeah, you're right, Pat. It says Return of the Jedi. So I don't know, for whatever reason, Princess Leia was popular that year.
Interesting.
1980.
Maybe it was the slave Leia
Oh,
costume.
And that
you know?
the gold bikini type
yeah.
costume. Oh, good lord. And all that hotness was balanced out with Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah.
Come on.
They yin-yanged that real well.
They did. 1984, the costume that kids had to have was Freddy Krueger.
Oh,
I
man,
figured
here I
he'd
am
be in
all
there,
like,
yeah.
Nightmare on Elm
was
Street.
it Transformers?
Yeah. I think his that's red and white striped sweater's coming back, right? Hipsters wear this again
Yeah, I
nowadays.
was going to say the Freddy Krueger
Little hat.
sweater is
What
like
do you call that hat that he's wearing?
it's a fedora. No, it's not a fedora. That's like the Indiana Jones hat almost.
Yeah, he never goes out of style at Halloween though. You always see Freddy running around on Halloween.
Good old Freddy Krueger. I don't know if you guys were into WWF back in the day.
Oh, yeah, I was.
Yeah, I mean,
I
it's,
was.
yeah, it's kids, totally.
1985, the trending costume that kids were wearing door to
The
door.
Hulkster.
Hulk Hogan, the Hulkster.
Yes, he is a real American. I don't know.
That's G.I. Joe.
He's really looking here. I thought that was the Hulk song.
Maybe you're right. I don't know.
I don't even know anymore.
1986, Care Bears went a little
went-
tame
went-
on that
Care
one.
Bears.
1987, Where's Waldo was a popular costume. I
Really?
didn't know it was that old.
I
Yeah,
think I
that's
remember
probably
those
about
books
right.
being around that when I was about that age, starting to see them.
And all these kids running around trick or treating, dressed in the striped shirt with the little beanie
Can't
hat.
find
Like,
'em.
which kid's mine? I don't know. Where's
Can't
Waldo?
find them.
88, you got Elvira. Always good.
Yeah.
So these weren't just kids' costumes. These were just costumes in general.
In general.
I see.
Yeah, so
I
Spirit
mean,
Halloween, they sell a lot of adult costumes
that
as
makes
well.
sense
They
now. I'm
do.
getting my brain right.
Yeah.
I'm thinking like kids.
Sorry, and I was thinking the same thing the first time I read this article. I was like, okay, these are adult
like, what
costumes.
child's dressing up like Elvira?
1989, this one stood the test of time because my little nephew Reed is all about this. Batman.
Batman.
Batman's still hot, man.
Because that would have been about the time Michael Keaton's Batman came
89.
out.
Yep.
Yep, there you go. 1990. If you weren't a Ninja Turtle for Halloween around 1990,
Are you even a '90s kid?
I mean, for real. I mean, take your pick: Leonardo, Raphael, Donatello, Michelangelo.
Change that bandana color and just go for it.
Which was you guys' favorite turtle?
Ooh, I'm Donatello all day long.
Yeah,
I never got it. I was too old for the turtles.
Pat and Miss Pat.
yeah.
Or
Pat was handing out candy by that point in time.
I was heading into college. Well, I was in college by then. But
By 1990. Yeah, so I was starting high school. So what was your favorite turtle, Andy?
I was a Michelangelo guy.
There you go, party dude.
Yeah, party dude all the way. Plus, he had the nunchucks, which I think was my favorite weapon. Plus, he liked pizza the most, which I can still attest to that. There you go. I can relate to that. 91 was the Terminator.
Come
Arnold.
with me if you want to
Arnold.
live.
Catwoman 92,
Makes sense.
infamous for being a subpar movie. I've heard. I haven't seen it.
so that's one of the later movie type Catwomen. I think the at least the picture they're showing there.
Yeah.
To me, Catwoman is and will always be Julie Newmar
Yeah.
from
yeah.
the 1966 Batman.
Yeah, wasn't Eartha Kitt? in the
Eartha
same-
Kitt was in there. My least favorite Catwoman, by the way.
Really? Yeah.
Julie Newmar, though.
Get the motor going, huh? Well, this was the Michelle Pfeiffer era, I do
Yes.
believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. 1993. This one surprised me. Barney, the big purple dinosaur Barney.
But a lot of irony in that costume. People
Yeah.
are like, I mean,
Tail swinging back and forth, kids tripping over
knocking
it.
him over.
Man, Barney. 94. Yeah, we're talking about the age of the Power Rangers. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Mighty Morphins.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was finishing high school at that point, so for me it was like that kind of missed me a little bit. 94, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very plasticky smelling costume, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Because, you know, you go into Target, you buy the mask, you put the mask on, it smells like, I don't know, a factory in China.
Like petroleum byproducts. and that costume's not making it through the night. Like that's going to be a ripped up tablecloth by the end of the...
Yeah.
100% all the way. Star Trek, 1995.
Yes! It's about time.
96. Oh, yeah, all the way.
I figured that'd be in there.
Scream, the movie Scream. What do you call that? The mask, the ghost
It's a ghost
face?
face.
Ghost face mask, 1996.
Yep.
You know, for its time, that movie was a really good
edgy.
horror movie.
Yeah, and it was like the turned a genre on its head kind of thing, and
Twist ending.
yeah, kind of a smart thinking person's horror movie.
Yeah.
Fun fact: I walked out of that movie.
Why?
It was too scary for me.
I don't blame you. I mean, there were parts. You know, they set the bar high right off the bat, where Drew Barrymore gets killed in the opening scene. They just come in hot.
Yeah.
You know, guns blazing. But it's still to this day, that's a super creepy mask.
You know, I've
Yeah.
never seen that movie.
Pat's never seen
I've
it.
never seen that movie.
You probably should at some point.
Maybe I should. Would
See.
you walk out on it if we were watching it together?
Now I would. Not with you and me. I'd never walk out on you, buddy.
If anything, these two would start spooning each other for comfort.
Hold me
me,
closer. Yeah, exactly.
1997, you got Batman and Robin.
Ooh.
Batman
Okay.
and Robin duo.
Yep. Couple costume.
Couple costume. 98, South Park. Yeah, all the
That makes sense.
craze with the high school kids back then.
That makes sense.
99, you got the Matrix. You know, a little bit of Neo
yeah.
action.
Get some Morpheus.
Morpheus going on.
Trench
A lot
coat,
of
some
leather.
sunglasses.
Whole
Yep.
lot of leather.
And cool
Was it-
sunglasses.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Can't even see at night. Again, you're tripping over Barney's tail because you have your Matrix
Barney
glasses.
just made you drop all your candy.
You want to do the impression, Eddie? Yeah, baby.
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
Austin Powers.
Yeah.
Popular in 2000. 2001, this one took me by surprise. It's the SNL Spartan cheerleaders
That was
skit.
people loved
The
that.
Will
Ferrell's,
Ferrell, yeah.
and what's her name?
Molly.
No, not Molly Shannon. She's the little short one.
I think it's Molly.
That's
We'll have to look that up and get back to you. But
That's that SNL sketch.
yeah, just great. Let's see, website's getting a little glitchy on me. 2002 Spider-Man was a 2003 Pirates. Kids just dressing up as any old pirate, but what inspired that was the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, where
yeah,
it was
you
hot.
know it.
Curse of the Black Pearl. SpongeBob SquarePants, 2004.
Yep. He's great, man.
2005, Star Wars coming back.
Coming back, the Darth Vader got the prequels coming at you hot.
Have they ever been out of style?
Not
I mean,
no. They keep coming back around. You know. Hey, by the way, Will Ferrell, his character name was Craig.
okay.
To his partner was Ariana, played by Sherry O'Terry.
Sherry O'Terry, that's her name.
Gotcha.
She's hilarious.
Gotcha. There you go. Thanks, fact checker Pat, man.
You
He's
know,
on it.
I do what I can do.
2006, he had Barack Obama. Kind of a, political spin there, but it's always relevant to elections.
Yep.
You know, those kind of come and go every 4
Yeah,
years.
President
sense.
masks always go well in election years.
Reminds me of, what was that movie? Was it Point Break, where all the bank robbers wore presidential
Yeah,
masks?
Point Break.
Yeah, somebody was Nixon.
Nixon.
Yeah, Nixon, Carter, and Reagan. I think there was another mask too. Bill
Um,
Clinton mask too, I think.
Trying to see what year this next.
Could have been Bill Clinton, Lyndon B. Johnson.
There you
I
go.
don't-
Yeah, right. The Abraham Lincoln mask.
2007, we got Spider-Man.
Again.
Again, the Joker in 2008 from the
Yeah.
Joker movie.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
See, we're getting into the.
I think that was was that the Heath Ledger version?
That
Yep.
was the dark Joker.
Yep.
2009, it was all about the vampires because
Yep.
of Twilight. Because of the
Twilight.
Twilight series.
Yeah, and maybe Buffy the Vampire. Well, that was actually
Buffy was more the 90s, like late
yeah,
90s.
she's more of a 90s girl.
But I think they had some like TV shows, like spin-offs of that.
Oh yeah,
still-
that Disney
still going.
shows and Twilight and all these other
Twilight,
ones.
yeah, vampires. 2010, you got Lady Gaga.
There you go.
2011. Oh, geez. Snooki and the Situation.
Oh,
And
man, the Jersey Shore.
Jersey Shore.
Jerseys.
2012, you have the
Situation.
Avengers. I mean, take your pick.
There you go.
All the Avengers
I
movie
know.
characters.
So good.
You want to be a raccoon, you can be a raccoon.
Yeah.
You know. We're getting towards the end. This one, I didn't even know what this was. The next year, so we're looking at 2013. We had Miley Cyrus and the Twerky Teddy.
That was from her performance, yeah.
From some it was like a scandalous performance or something that she did. Sorry, the website's getting a little glitchy here.
No, you're fine. We'll have spooky Halloween music playing in the background here.
Anyway,
Sung by Snooki.
2013, I think we're on Frozen. You could be Elsa, you could be Anna.
Just let it go.
Let it go, man.
Skip a few. You have Caitlyn Jenner, 2015. Donald Trump, 2016, again with the presidential mask. 2017, Hocus Pocus. You guys remember that movie?
Hocus Pocus has made a giant resurgence
yeah.
in nostalgia. People, it's a great movie. I mean,
They're doing a remake, I believe, next fall. There's a remake, I think, with the same ladies.
I think so. Yeah.
wow.
Can't wait, dude. It's a good movie.
It's a great Halloween movie. It's a good movie, period.
Bette Midler and I couldn't tell you the other two, but yeah.
Yeah, the Sanderson sisters. Yeah,
Yep.
really. If you're looking for a family-friendly Halloween movie to watch with your kids, look up Hocus Pocus.
Yeah.
And then we got Fortnite, back-to-back years, and that concludes our list. But, Fortnite, big with the adolescents, teens, the tweens.
We
Video
joke and
game crowd.
We call it fork knife.
Fork knife?
Yeah, as a joke. Like, you kids playing your fork knife? That's nice.
So there you go. From all the way from back in the day to present, most popular costume, combining adult costumes and kid costumes. So
Best memory costume for you as a kid, Andy? Go.
best one. When I was a kid, two consecutive years, I think I wore this. My mom took a red hooded sweatshirt. She sewed some black devil horns to the top. She sewed a black devil tail to the back, and I had a pitchfork, painted my face red, and I went as the El Diablo.
Ooh.
2
2
easy,
years running.
classic. It was a classic,
And you used it for 2 years.
2 years, I believe.
Well
yeah.
done. How about you, Pat?
It'd have to be one of the Star Wars ones, probably. 'Cause
Yeah.
One year I was Darth Vader. There was another year I was a Luke Skywalker, and I was also. There was 1 year I actually had two costumes. So my mom bought me. It might have been the Luke Skywalker year. I had a full, the cheapo Luke Skywalker costume, but then a little while later we were back at the store and I saw a stormtrooper mask and I'm like, oh, I want to be a stormtrooper. So she actually bought me the mask. It was just the little cheapo mask, and then I wore like a white shirt, a button-up shirt. So it was one of my Star Wars gigs probably. I was also Batman one year. That was kind of fun.
I was Superman 1 year, and I actually wore pantyhose because my mom, we didn't have anything that would have been been like leggings, and so I wore like blue pantyhose as Superman, and my mom made a cape and the whole 9 yards, and I had a little like blue long sleeve, like a long sleeve T-shirt that she put an S on, and then a couple years later, I was the cheapo, like the Woolworths plastic costume that's all one. It was Optimus Prime for Halloween. I was pretty excited about that one. Then I saw the movie and they killed him, and I was like, "Why did you kill him?" Anyway,
Nowadays, kids are next level. Have you seen those costumes that are literally Transformer costumes?
Yes.
Yeah.
all the panels, and they just lay
They
down.
just open up, and
Yeah.
I mean, that's just nuts.
Yeah, they just plop on the ground and look like a little truck.
If we saw that as a kid, we would think, oh my God, it's actually a Transformer that came to life.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah. Oh, don't get me started. There's they have robots. They have an actual like transformable, like it does it itself. Now on that little table, you just hit a button and it transforms itself. It's just crazy. We're living in the future.
Well, that concludes our pop culture segment. I love this time of year, guys. Just the content. This is right in our wheelhouse. This is one of our favorite episodes to do as we get close to Halloween.
Yeah,
so.
all the shows are starting to come on.
Yeah,
we
we love Halloween
and fun stuff.
Love the holidays period here, but yeah, Halloween has a special paranormal place in our hearts.
And Apple is still holding Charlie Brown hostage, by the way.
Oh,
The Charlie Brown Halloween. Yeah, you can only see it on Apple TV. I think they release it like I think last year they played it on PBS or something.
They released
like
it once. They were like, all
like
right,
one day, and you had to be watching that day. And, I mean, this is coming from a guy who owns the DVD, but I still get mad about it.
Yeah, you don't get to hold Charlie Brown hostage.
If it's not on CBS,
Yeah.
it's just not the same.
Yep.
Well, coming up next, we have the main mystery. Which one of you guys has that? Pat?
Yeah, that's mine.
All right, Pat's on main
We're going
mystery.
back to school.
Here we go. Back to school with Pat.
We're going to Africa.
And now it's time for the main mystery.
So last episode, we touched on a event that happened in southern Africa a few years back in 1994. And we've actually touched on this UFO sighting a couple of times in our Paranormal Dad history. And so I figured this time around, we need to just give it the full Paranormal Dad treatment.
There we go.
And we're going to talk about the Rua, Zimbabwe Ariel school sighting or Ariel school event. So what happened was back in 1994, there were 60 children out on the playground, and all the teachers were actually in a meeting. And so there was just like one adult out with the kids, and she actually ran this little kind of like a candy stand that the kids could go buy candy and whatnot. But a number of the kids kind of went off kind of away from the playground because they were attracted to something they were seeing out in a wooded area off the side of the playground. And they actually, in the sky, saw what they described as a flying disc. It was saucer-shaped, it was silver, and it actually landed. And so the kids went to investigate, and there were actually, a couple of beings came out of this thing. They described these things as about 4 feet tall. They were wearing black uniforms, or one child described them as kind of almost like scuba suit type material outfits. They had large round heads. They were kind of very pale. They had very large eyes. One kid said their eyes were almost as big as rugby balls, which I mean that's really big.
It's about the size of a football.
Yeah,
I mean,
and one interesting thing I saw about one of the description of one of these things is it had hair. Some of the kids described it as having long black hair. The other one was bald, they said. But one of these beings was on top of the spaceship, kind of running back and forth, and the other one came down off the ship and stared at the kids for a while. And the kids reported that they were actually communicating with these things. They weren't speaking. It was more of a telepathy kind of a thing. So, I mean, just an incredible story coming out of the mouths of 60 children. And some of them became quite frightened and went running to the only adult in the immediate vicinity. And others stayed until the creatures or beings got back into the ship. It took off and left the area. And there were also other UFO reportings within that area at the same time frame. So it wasn't long. Just a few days later, a BBC crew came in, and the guy who showed up was a war reporter. So this is like a hardened veteran reporter. He's been in all kinds of battle zones and some very violent atmosphere. But he said this was probably the one story in his career that scared him the most. He said it was so odd, so weird that what these kids were saying, it was so believable. You know, he just didn't doubt them. He knows they saw something, and what they were describing to him was just, quite frankly, out of this world.
and you have that many witnesses, and I'm sure there were small variations in what they saw, but they pretty much all saw the same thing.
Yeah, and they even came back and they drew pictures of it. The teachers were actually pretty smart about it. They asked them to draw pictures of it. So they all drew their own pictures, and a lot of the pictures were the same thing. The kids were drawing the same thing over and over again. And it's just kind of a head scratcher for sure that these kids, to this day, their story has not changed. They're all grown-ups now. This is what 40 years almost? 40 years?
94.
94?
94 is like 25.
25 plus.
Oh, okay.
But
I don't do math good.
You're almost 30 years. Almost 30.
But didn't they do like a documentary or something on the quote unquote the reunion when they came back to talk about it again?
So there's actually a gentleman named Randall Nickerson, and he's he kind of has a lot of side jobs actually, but he's a filmmaker, and he's actually been working on a movie about this. And it's taken him a long time. He wants to do the movie his way. So just financing something like this has been really a challenge for him. But he's like 10 years into the making of this film. And he has an incredible video out on YouTube where he was actually at a UFO conference in Oregon. And he came and he spoke, talked about making the movie, talked about all the interviewing he did with the kids, both the kids, the teachers, pretty much anybody he could hunt down who was a witness to that day. He spoke to the reporter. It took him 2 years to find the reporter, but he did find him and got to talk to him. This guy's talk on YouTube was just fascinating. He does show a trailer for the movie. It includes a lot of the BBC footage that was shot just days after it happened. And to listen to these kids talk about their experience, there's just no hesitation in what they're saying. If they were making it up, they should all win Academy Awards for acting because it was completely believable. And he would even, the reporter that was there would even say, well, are you sure it wasn't like a Harrier jump jet or something? And they're like, no, that wasn't what we saw. What we saw, it was saucer shaped. It was a flying disc. It was silver, and these kids look so innocent, And like I said, I was just kind of in awe listening to these kids tell their story.
Well, you have two people that see a UFO. That's amazing because you can rule out hallucination or anything like that. You got 10 people see a UFO, you can take it to the bank. They saw what they saw, but you got a whole 60 plus kids.
Yeah. It was the whole school basically.
The whole school.
It's a small school where it's at. It's not like a giant public school out in U.S., but it's like a private school out in where it's at. And they were unanimous. They're, like you were getting at, all their drawings show the same thing. Slight variations here and there, but they saw what they saw and they stuck by it. They still stick by it. It's something else, man. It's like we're in an era now where the U.S. government has acknowledged that there are things flying around, but now being able to validate and verify, having these people, and one had hair. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I was really surprised. That's usually not something you hear about.
No,
but they were talking about black hair. The other thing about this story that's interesting is just kind of the coverage that was given, or the investigation, I should say, about it, because not only did you have this guy from the BBC, shortly thereafter, she's, I guess you'd call her a UFOologist or ufologist from, I think she's originally from England, but she kind of focused her studies in African UFO sightings. Her name was Cynthia Hind. And she came in, she talked to the kids. She was kind of a UFO expert. A lot of the kids recalled feeling some comfort talking to her. She seemed to be like one of the, I'm sure a lot of their parents, thought this is nonsense, and I'm sure a lot of people didn't believe them. But I'm sure when this lady came in and talked to them and entertain their story, they remember her fondly. I think she died in 2000. Another person who came in shortly thereafter to do an investigation was actually a former, at the time he was a professor from Harvard. His name was Dr. John Mack, and he came in and did a lot of extensive interviews with the kids. He videotaped a lot of them, and you can see some footage in that film that Randall Nickerson is working on. So this guy did a lot of, I think he might have even written a book about it, and created a lot of documentation of the event, and stuff that that Nickerson was able to use when he was researching his film. Dr. John Mack actually was killed in England. It was like a few years later by a drunk driver. So he was no longer with us. But if you can go out to YouTube and check out that story or this conference that Nickerson spoke at, it's like a 2-hour deal. And I sat there in bed last night and watched probably the first hour of it. I still have an hour to go, but it was very, very cool. He actually brings in some of the kids who are now grown adults, and they talk about their experience, which is just amazing to watch.
Was there anything in there? Because I remember seeing something about it back in the day, and didn't one of the kids, he climbed a fence or he wanted to get closer, and I think he actually made contact. He like physically touched the craft.
See, I didn't see anything about that,
Okay.
but in my high level review that I did on this, but I remember we talked about that before, so that could be part of the story. I just haven't gotten.
I remember that being some facet of the story. Like one of the kids got a little bit bold and got either close or actually came into contact with the ship.
But that's
Somehow.
just it. Every person has a different fight or flight response. When you're presented with something new and different, some people are terrified and run away. Some people freeze. Some people run into battle. They run towards the danger.
And listening to the kids' stories, that's exactly what happened. Some of them ran away. Some of them stood there and tried to effectively made contact. They claimed that they received messages from these beings, that they didn't feel threatened by them. They didn't mean them any harm. The beings actually were concerned about our planet. They were concerned about our environment, and they left these kids with messages that one child described all the trees being gone. They were telling the kids that we're not treating our planet well. So that was kind of interesting as well.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think things have gotten much better since '94. I'll just say that.
No, because a lot of weird stuff has gone on since then.
It's pick a part of the country. There's some sort of natural disaster going on constantly. But it's almost a shame that this didn't happen in modern days, because any kid on that playground older than about 12 years old has a cell phone and could have captured it, unanimously.
Yeah. And this is where you get into this case where, we are getting a lot of UFO sightings now. There are a lot of cell phones, and there are a lot of people capturing these phenomenon. It's just some of these phenomenon are bending our brains on what they look like and how they behave. And all we can do is get your... Oh, I punched the mic. Get your phone out and keep it ready when you see these weird things.
And when you record horizontal footage.
Horizontal,
not
please.
Vertical. Because if it does end up on YouTube, you're going to have one of those little horizontal
With the black bars.
and you only capture a third of the actual screen size. How about you guys? UFO lands in my backyard right now. Are you running towards it, running away, or are you freezing?
I don't know if I'm running towards it, but I'm definitely observing it.
I am running towards that thing.
Especially if it's a Nordic blonde.
Yeah, well, I'm jumping on the hood of the car. Take me, get me out of here.
They fling Eddie off with their windshield wipers. With their Jupiter windshield wipers.
Exactly. No, I am one of those. Take me with you. Do what you got to do.
That's a close encounter of the sixth kind right there. Is Eddie on your windshield.
Yeah,
Like those
being
suction
hit
cup
by the
Garfields.
windshield wipers.
Well, What would you, Andy? What would you do?
Oh, I'm freezing, but I'm freezing. I'm not running towards. I'm not running away, but I'm for sure recording it.
Yeah.
Actually, I have dreams. I have dreams that I'm capturing alien ships in the sky, and every time I try to grab my phone to get footage, I can't get my video to work.
Yeah.
It's a reoccurring nightmare that I have. And it's not a nightmare because there's UFOs. It's a nightmare because my phone won't
the
cooperate
phone
with
isn't
me.
working.
Like, no one's going to believe this.
Yeah. No, I am very much a run towards it kind of guy. You know, but
So-
we were that way with the Bigfoot expedition we did too. I was like, let's go.
Yeah, I remember even in that documentary we made, Eddie, he nominated Pat. He's like, if we see Bigfoot in the woods, Pat's just going to run after it into the woods.
Doing it.
We pan over to Pat. He's like, okay.
That's not what I agreed to. Yeah, it's something else, especially like you said, that many children at that given time.
And it's impacted them too. Some of their stories. They were talking to one gal. They actually interviewed her. She was sitting in a bar. You kind of got the sense that she had a hard life. Like she'd really struggled, and it came across as this was part of the reason why.
Yeah.
There are, like you said, there was a reunion with some of these people, and a lot of tears, very emotional for these people to get back together. Some of them went back to the schoolyard, and you could tell they were almost kind of shaken up by being there.
Man. School's boring for me. Why don't I get that kind of cool stuff? Aliens coming and visiting you in recess.
Oh, man.
All I got on recess was wedgies and burns on the slide going down with my shorts.
We traded football cards and Star Wars cards.
There you go.
Played Nerf football. That was my recess.
Kind of heaven there when you think about it.
It was a good time. It was a good time.
There you have it. Was it episode 62?
61.
61,
61.
son.
61.
Yep.
Well, thanks for getting us across the finish line there, Pat.
All right. We've mentioned it multiple times. I figured we better do it right.
Yeah, exactly. We had mentioned it a bunch. We've made references.
Yeah.
You know. Hey, with all that, be sure to like, follow, and share us on all of your social medias. Pick your favorite. You got like the Facebooks, we're on that. Like the Instagrams, guess what? We're on that one too. And Twitterverse. Paranormal Dads are in that space as well. So be sure to join us, follow us on there, message us, reach out to us. I'd mentioned before in the last episode, we're looking into doing some ghost hunts. If you live in the Omaha or around that general vicinity, give us a shout and we can have some back and forth, talk to you, see if it's a case we'd like to investigate, and let us know on that paranormal front.
Thanks to everybody at freesound.org for providing us with some sound effects and music for this episode. And if you have a suggestion of a main mystery or a recent sighting or a pop culture that you think we should address, hit us up. We're very accessible. We're very open to, obliging some of your suggestions because we're always looking for new content. And, so with that being said, I think we'll bid you adieu. Happy listening. Thanks for being a fan. Thanks for support and listening to us, everybody. For pop culture.
Andy, I love your radio, bro.
Thanks, man.
Does that work?
It used to work. It was my Grandma Myers.
It died.
Yep. But it's
Do you know what's wrong with it?
No.
We could take it into a place if you want. I know a guy.
Probably could get it working again.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be pretty cool to listen to the radio.
I'm just saying.
Listen to some old-timey music from
Is
that.
it just
thing.
a radio? It doesn't play any like records or anything?
No, just a radio. I
Get some
think.
LED lights
that's a
put in
record
there.
player,
That'd
too.
be so
Hold
cool.
on, I'm sorry. I just want to look at this. Do you mind?
I don't think it opens up or anything.
No, it does.
Oh,
You
does-
can see the side of it.
What? It does? What? How the hell did I not know that? Can you prop it open? That looks cool like that.
It's one of those things that like.
Put
Dude, I've
lights
had
in
this
there,
thing
man.
For years.
Look at that. You want to get that fixed, dude.
I want to get it.
You see this, Pat? Look at this great piece.
I gotta see this.
On there and spin it around.
Talk about like
That's cool. That's really cool.
It's that old timey like felt too, so it grips the record.
Oh my gosh, that's
Pat's like, I have one of those.
Oh, so it's a record player too.
Yeah.
Nice.
wow.
It's so big.
I had
There's
no
no
idea.
way it's just a radio.
All right.
Total distraction from recording.
We got distracted by my dead grandma's radio.
I'm on my ADD meds.
Yeah, this
That's
is
just
the ADD episode.
That's just a.
We're like, squirrel.
What? That's a great looking thing, though.
It's cool, man. It's so cool.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see if I can do this.
Red
Here.
leather.
You got
yellow
this.
Leather.
Lion face. Lemon face. Lion face. Lemon face.
All right, Darwin, I need your.
He looks like
I
a
need your
Christmas
psychic
ham.
power. Darwin looks like you guys are just.
It's like a
guys
turkey
are
with no
just-
legs.
Where'd your legs go, Darwin? Where are your legs at? Did the
You ain't
aliens
got-
take them? He looking right at me now. He's like, I hate you so much.
He ain't got no legs, Lieutenant Dan.
Yes.
No,
Just
you ain't
go
got no
away.
legs, Lieutenant Darwin. You ain't got no legs.
Says I just want to go to bed with my dad. That's all. I want you guys to leave.
Right. Get out of here.
All right.